Not everything that's worth carrying comes off an assembly line. In Ohio, there's a family turning raw copper, brass, steel, and aluminum into more than just gear. At Coppershed Metalworks, every piece is made to be carried, used, and marked by time. These aren't factory products, they're stories you slip in your pocket, objects that grow alongside you. From family to final part, this is Coppershed Metalworks.
So in 2015, I was a low voltage electronics specialist my whole life, and I never worked in a machine shop or anything like that. I told my wife I was gonna order some copper for Christmas and make some keychains. And she said, that's dumb. You know? More so like you're making a gift, you know. But I made these keychains, and people started asking me to make more for them. And I said, no, I'm working 7 days a week at my day job. And then one person asked me to make 40 of them with their logo on it. So I only had a little table vise and some hand files and a cordless drill at the time. So it took me forever. So she said, well, you could use that money and buy a little drill press and a sander. And I said, well, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna start a Facebook group, and maybe I'll work out in the shed a couple nights a week. So started a Facebook group, took that order, bought a $120 drill press, a $120 belt sander, and a month later, I was out in the shop 5 nights a week. It just took off from there. And 3 years, I was doing all my designs by hand and selling everything in my Facebook group. And we started to have our first piece machined locally. They couldn't keep up and with the demand. And so I went locally in town to a machine shop, and they were machining it. Well, at this point, we started debating if I should do this full time. We had a mortgage, 2 car payments, 2 little kids at the time. Very scary. 9 months we debated this and just couldn't pull the trigger. It was too scary. So after the 9 months though, it just hit me. If I don't try this, I'm gonna regret it forever. So we did it. But when we decided to do this full time, we said that we need to turn this into a full functioning job shop though, someday. Not just my parts, my pieces, and my designs forever. So that was always the goal. So quit my job, did it full time, bought our first CNC in 2019. And then we bought our second one in 2020 and our third one in 23.
So this has been growing.
Yes. Yeah, we bought a 50 watt fiber laser in 22. So we're constantly trying to grow it to get there to that point. My designs, mostly 90% of them are custom bottle openers, more on the artsy side, collector's pieces. All my designs, start to finish, my work, I do all that. I hand sand every edge that comes off the machine even. And then I have different finishes I offer. My wife does all the packaging and shipping, and all through our Facebook group. So that's been 10 years, it's been amazing. And then my wife was able to leave her job of 18 to 20 years was at. She left 2 years ago to work full time for the business. So now it's me and her, and my buddy has been helping out, comes over every night during the week since 2019. Because when we got our first machine, I never touched one. So he said, get the machine, I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna set you up. And now 6 years later, he's still coming over. So that's been amazing.
We see a lot of side hustles out there. This isn't a side hustle anymore. This is a full-time family business that's providing for your family.
Correct. Yep, it is. We run 3 Tormach 1100 MXs. For what we do, small parts, small tooling, they work great. I run copper, brass, titanium, aluminum, some mild stainless, you know, but for the small parts and what I do, they're awesome. I run them all day long, 5-6 days a week, constantly, and they work great.
You have a very, very nice setup here. You know, efficiency of space is usually key when you're trying to set up an operation like that, and it looks like you've done that well.
We're in our attached garage right now. It's only 24 by 24 maybe. So when we moved here 3.5 years ago, which we moved here to this township because there's no zoning, so we can grow as big as we want, and we have 18 acres. So when we moved in, we had just these 2 machines. And then when we got our 3rd machine in 23, I just squeezed it over a little bit more. So also, I'll note, we do have a bigger building right there. But when we moved in, our youngest boy was only 2 years old.
Right.
Our other boys, they were 9 and 10. And it's nice that I'm attached to the house. If, you know, she had to run to the store, my wife, I'm right here still. So that was a deciding factor. So eventually we'll move out to that building. When it was time to grow and we couldn't because of the residential restrictions, people asked me, why don't you just lease a building up the street? And I said, some days I work 16-hour days, no joke. And I would never see them. At least now, if we're busy and I got a 16-hour days for 2 weeks, I can at least run in, have dinner with them. It makes a big difference.
Let the machines run while you're doing other stuff, right?
Yep, yep. So that was always something we wanted to do, was at our home. And 10 years later, I wake up every day, I come out here, and I can't believe this is what I get to do.
And it's one of the smartest
amazing
things that I think, if you had to make a choice that you didn't take the lease, one thing we always talk about is, one thing you need to do when you're especially building a business is keep your overhead low. And what's lower than a space you already own?
Yep.
Yeah, the AC might cost a bit more. Yeah, the electricity, but you're also not working for a landlord. So, I mean, clearly that has worked out well. When we're talking about the Tormach 1100 MX, this is a standard 3-axis mill, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it does have a 4th axis option. I do have them fully loaded, 12 tool changers, automatic oiler, coolant system. Fully loaded as you can get them from Tormach.
When you're starting out, obviously, there's a lot of different options out there. What kind of drove you in that direction?
So at the time, there's a few factors here. First off, ignorance is bliss. You know, I was very new at this. Second, power restrictions.
Right.
Because we were residential and we didn't have 3-phase. The weight of them, I mean, I can go on and on about.
Don't need to put in a new concrete pad.
Yeah, so these are, 220 volt, single phase. They're only around 1,600, 1,800 pounds each, I think. So you don't need to do nothing with the concrete. That was the deciding factor on the first one. So these are 10,000 RPM machines. These
are 10,000.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So yeah, I mean, even with
right?
that BT30, when you're doing a lot of this little stuff, you can get in there and really feed.
They are only 2 horsepower. So of course, if you were running bigger parts, bigger tooling, then I would have an issue. But my biggest tool is 1/4 inch. Most of my parts we do with all 1/8 inch, 3/16 end mills.
But is this kind of the average size of something you're going to run in there?
Yes, pocket size pieces.
And you can look at the finish on that. I mean, that is a combination of the tooling, but also the rigidity of the machine. You're getting some pretty ridiculous finishes in those.
Yep. There's one there we just ran today when we started, first op.
Look at that. Now,
so that is my biggest tool there. That's a 3-inch? 3-inch face mill, yeah. That's just for facing my surfaces.
You're just decking it, making them look
just decking
nice.
it, that's it. But that is the largest you see in there.
But it'll run it all day.
All day. I was so happy with this first one. I can work on this and fix it. That's the thing. I learned it so well. Like even one day, I think on my second machine, one of the motors went out.
Right.
It was actually under warranty. Tormach had it to me the next day.
Really?
They shipped it overnight. It took me 5 minutes to replace myself.
Just 4 bolts in and out, plug it in.
That was it.
Way you go.
So that was an amazing thing right there. And actually, that one's been running 6 years now, every day, like nonstop. And I haven't even had a motor go out on that one.
Really?
Or yeah, no spindles yet. I'm able to work on these and fix everything ourselves. And that's a huge factor
because you're not waiting on someone else to do it.
The other ones, I was so used to them and felt so comfortable. Tormach support is great. They've been awesome. I couldn't, if I ever have to run bigger parts, then I'll have an issue maybe.
Cross that bridge when you
But
get there.
right now, I'm completely fine and happy. I know there's a lot of people who say you can't run these for a full-time business, but I say depending on the part and the material and how you operate them, you can.
And you've been doing it for 8 years.
Yep. My product, I do, maybe 10, 20 at a time. There has been times. So we do our big event. That's another thing. We hold an annual meet and greet at our home every year. This is our 9th year doing it. And I made 140 bottle openers that I'm handing out like
as an
door
attendee
gift when they show up. So there's 140 there. But usually my work every week is not that many of each piece. I don't mass produce them. It is just me and my wife, and my programmer comes over at night.
What's back here? This must be the finishing area, I'm guessing.
Yes.
I'm seeing some belt sanders and
So that is
all
what I
good
call
stuff.
my dirty room, all my sanders,
Oh,
cutters,
yeah.
drill presses, keeps all the dirt out from the rest of my shop. These here are great for sanding and buffing your parts off the machine if you do the hand finish work like that.
How much time would you say an average week is spent on that side compared to this side here?
So I'm in here nonstop. I'm running the machines out there. I hear them. I can hear a tool break. I do different metalwork finishes. I do electroanodizing on titanium.
in here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Every-
Doing
I
it
do,
yourself?
I do powder coating in here.
Oh, that's your powder coating oven.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah. So small parts. So it's a 50-watt JPT fiber laser, and I use it for marking my logos, engraving patterns on some of my designs, things like that.
And it looks pretty easy to program. I know I have a really low-grade laser at my place, but the interface looks almost exactly the same.
Yes, yep, it's pretty simple. It's fiber, so it actually engraves metal, whereas the CO2 lasers only do like glass, wood, leather, but they don't do metal, and this one will engrave metal.
It's 90% of what you're doing is metal. This is what goes out the door. Wow, look at all the different designs and stuff you got too.
So like, even though these I machined, I do this metal work. I call it my relic metal work. So it looks like it's antique and old.
Those little finishes in there, is that with the belt sanders and hand tools?
All different tools. So Dremels, different drill bits, cutoff wheels, small wheel attachments. I have a different process for that exact finish with all kinds of different.
And when you're designing
metalwork.
these and you're coming up with the finishes, how long does it typically take you from idea between the ears to finished product? And I know it depends on the week and it depends on what's going on, but
Usually what I do, first off, for some reason, I have all my designs usually when I'm like right when I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'll hurry and make myself a note so I don't forget in the morning. I'll come out that next morning and I will hand make it.
so that's
start
kind of your
machining
prototype
them.
phase, but also it's a prototype phase that A, people like, and B, is a revenue generator.
Yes.
It works both ways. That's
Yes.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And you actually are doing a lot of plastic over here too.
So because a lot of my work is collectible, these ones are polycarbonate versions of my metal ones. So this is a brass one, fully functional. On the polycarbonate, I sell the bottle opener part as non-functional.
Right.
But since this is like a key dangler, it'll still functional as a key
People
dangler.
so like them, just let's not be cracking bottles with those
Correct.
ones there.
This one is a pocket size EDC cigar ashtray I sell. And then that one's a full one I do.
And look at the finishes you guys get on that. So you're powder coating that and then you're actually buffing that off.
Yep, I'm sanding it all, and then I'm powder coating it, and then I'm sanding the flats for a two-tone finish there. And then there's some of my lasering from my machine on the back. So it will say made in USA. That's my smoke shed.
Oh, you're doing lighter holders? Like,
Yep.
you guys don't just have one product. It seems to be a
So
real
I
range.
have over 100 different designs. I lost track now. And I still, half of them I still make completely by hand. And then the other half we machine now, and which I still hand finish.
You're working for yourself. You're doing it with your family. What would you say to people who are looking to get into this but might be a bit hesitant? Because it is a leap.
So, yes, first off, it is so scary. I get it. I talk to, I can't do it. I have this, and this. We have made some of the probably financially dumb decisions to risk this, right? And the chances you take, it has been a scary, rough journey. Luckily, it has paid off for us. I would say I don't want to grow old and have regrets. So if you're thinking about doing something, just do it. You know, when we were talking about going full time, I never worked for myself before or had any plans to work for myself ever. I was happy at my job, honest days pay, honest days work. I was fine there forever. When I was going full time, my biggest concern was, how disciplined am I going to be? Am I going to wake up and be sore and say, I'm going to lay here for another couple hours? You don't know until you do it. And luckily, no, I am up earlier than ever before. When you work for yourself, you're working later than ever for yourself. It's a different feeling.
So Nick, your background is in machining. You're a full-time machinist?
That's right, yes.
What kind of software are you programming this with, or are you just using the conversational in there?
No, I don't use the conversational at all. I use Bobcat and Fusion. I've got many years of background in Bobcat, and most of his legacy stuff has been designed with Bobcat. And I also use Fusion too.
So for production stuff, this is not just a hobbyist machine. You're using pro-level software.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pop the G-code in, and you're getting professional level results.
Yep, usually you plug a flash drive right into the machine and download the programs and post it from top-notch, industry standards CAD software, CAD/CAM software.
And the one question a lot of people have when they see these machines is this is obviously a BT30 spindle.
Mm-hmm.
So we got smaller tool holders.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect how you program these? Are you concerned at all about rigidity or?
Yeah, definitely. We try to use tool holders that maximize tool grip. The machines have 10,000 RPM spindles, so I'm really able to use that spindle speed to its advantage. And when using micro tools, a quarter inch or smaller, high spindle speeds really make a nice difference. You get really nice finishes, real high material removal rates.
And when you guys are doing that, I mean, you could theoretically, for a lot of these features, use a larger end mill. What's your approach when you're using? Is it because of trying to capitalize on the advantages of the machine?
I try. Yeah, not only that, and we use some dynamic roughing and adaptive roughing tool paths just to maximize those material removal rates. So small tools, they can run pretty fast, and that spindle speed really benefits you when removing material and non-ferrous metals like that. And,
I mean, because you can see your tool path
Oh,
there. You're
absolutely,
getting a
yeah.
real
Yep,
nice
yep.
chip coming off there.
So we do a lot of high-speed machining.
Are there any considerations between the three different machines that you have to keep in mind when you're programming them, or once you're good for one, you're good for all?
Yeah, most of any of the programs I make can run on any of the machines usually. None of the machines really run better than the other ones. One of them does have onboard probing, which is fantastic. We did buy tool setters for all of them, so we have automated a tool change process.
Oh, that's your tool setter right there.
Yeah, the preset. Yep. So for teaching off tools, we put presetters in all the machines.
And so compared to, I mean, I'm guessing at your full-time gig, you're running much larger machines.
Yeah. Yep.
What are the main differences between your thought process for those versus a machine like this? If you were going to start your own gig, would you be looking at something this size?
I would, just because of the the power requirements and the space requirements, and not having to pour a concrete pad or anything. These can be moved around with a pallet jack. You can put them pretty much anywhere. At the price point, you're not going to find really a machine that fits the bill that has the features this is. You would pay a lot extra, for some of the features these machines come standard with. You couldn't build something from another competing brand for this price.
people want to find out more about your business and maybe even come to the next meetup, where can they go?
So we're on Facebook at Copper Shed. There is a business page, which is Copper Shed Metalworks, but we do all of our posting on our group, which is just Copper Shed. And if you're looking for, if you have jobs that you need machined, we are on coppershed.com on our website. But all our personable posts, our live feeds, our sales go on in our Facebook group.
Thank you very much for
Yep.
joining us.
Thank you.